Hello! Happy Monday, everyone. I have never been more excited to make this announcement, but we officially have That's On Them merch. That's right. We have an adorable dad hat. We have an Italy version as well as a USA version. So please pick whatever you choose. And we also have these amazing crew necks. They're super soft, super cozy. They've got our That's On Them on the chest, and it's the perfect addition to your fall wardrobe and an amazing reminder that that's on them. You don't need to take on other people's agendas. And when you wear your merch, you're just going to know that you're extra protected and extra reminded of all your tips and tools. So you can buy our merch at www.thatsonthem.com. And it's also in our show notes. So if you go into our show notes, you will see a link to buy merch. In addition, remember that we are on YouTube. So every week we launch a video version of our episodes on YouTube so you can see our crazy facial expressions. You never know what you're going to get on the YouTube. It can get a little crazy over there. And then finally, remember that we are on TikTok and Instagram. And so we've made a conscious effort recently to really up our content. So we're sharing exclusive content over on our Instagram and TikTok. So our Instagram handle is at That's On Them Podcast. And our TikTok handle is at That's On Them. Have a fabulous week and enjoy this episode. Welcome to That's On Them. We're your hosts. I'm Aspen.
And I'm Cheryl. And we're here to talk about life's challenges and how to navigate them.
Offering tried and true tips and tools.
Let's do this, baby.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, sweetheart. How's my girl?
I'm doing so well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Your hair looks cute.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I colored it a little bit differently, and
it's a little darker. It's your fall look.
Yeah, so I think we have a few things to brag about.
Oh my gosh, we have a few things to brag about. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, merch, crew necks, and it's so chic and so fabulous and perfect for the fall. You can stay warm and sport your That's On Them. And it's also a reminder when you put your stuff on, I'm not taking on other people's agendas.
That's right.
What's mine is mine, and I'm protecting myself. And
that's right.
That's on them.
That's on them, baby. And if you don't know it, read it.
Exactly. So www.thatsonthem.com. You can go ahead and buy it from our site. And we'll ship you a little package with the goodies.
Okay. What is our today?
What is our today? Our today is a great one. So I got to give a little backstory. So Cheryl and I were chit-chatting. I was in the car and we're driving. She, as you do, all of a sudden you completely switch gears. You're like, oh my God, Aspen, I know what we need to talk about. We need to talk about setbacks to opportunities. And you go, I'm reading this article and it's talking about all the major setbacks that every generation has had. And you just go down a rabbit hole. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so anyways, we got into an hour-long conversation about this. And we go, oh shoot, we should have recorded that. So why don't you
start with the history lesson?
Please do.
Back in the day, it was the silent generation. And that I think was 1928 to 1945. And, maybe it was our maybe it's our grandparents, great-grandparents, whatever. And some obviously parents, depending on who we're speaking to. I mean, our friend Lisa's mom's going to be 100. So it was her, God bless her. Anyway, the Great Depression, World War II, huge global conflicts, people that were impacted. Then we were in the baby boomers, which I will say is my generation. And that was 1946 to 1964, which I don't remember much of it because I'm kind of on the cusp. Anyway, the civil rights was going on, that racial equality, this resistance, this violence, and then Vietnam. Then we went into Generation X, 1965 to 1980. And there was this huge economic downturn. I mean, recession in the early 80s, right? The dot-com bubble, which I know very, very well because I had diversity e-commerce at that time and it blew up. Rapid technology changes, guys. This is when all that technology started coming in. Then we went to the millennials generation of 1981 to 1996. Great recession again, tech dependency. Oh, mamma mia. Job challenges, student loan debt that we're still having this impact, decades later. And this tech dependency just as we know now, has really grown to places we don't really want to know. And then Generation Z, right? 97 to 2013. Global economic downturns, climate change was really, 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 really popular and really began with respect to people being very concerned about the climate more and more. And of course, the aftermath of COVID-19. And then we get into Generation Alpha. I didn't even know we had a Generation Alpha. I love you all,
I
Generation
didn't
Alphas. Right? Generation Alpha, Alpha used to be a different conversation, but 2013 to now is Generation Alpha. And this is disruption from COVID-19, social issues, family issues, social interactions, disruptions of society, and then this digital frickin' overload. And we are living it right now. So talk about, what did I just say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think just 6 generations of setbacks, global world, right? But where are we today? We're still surviving.
Right. I think the reason why I love this so much is that you can actually see how we have evolved as human beings over the course of generations. And like, these are still people that are alive, that were going through Vietnam and the civil rights movement and all these different things. And part of this, what you really see is like, as technology has advances, the problems have completely changed. But I love that it highlights one thing, and it is the number one. If you can understand this in life, I think we will all be set up for success, in the sense that every generation is going to have setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a world where setbacks don't exist is impossible. That's never going to happen, because it's part of our human experience.
Yes.
Is to experience loss, is to have setbacks, have challenges, have hardships. And it's a cycle.
Yes.
And it's how we evolve.
It's cyclical. Absolutely. It's cyclical. And I think that you had mentioned that you wanted me to maybe talk about a little personal setback and how I even arrived in Italy. And there, we've all had setbacks, you guys, and we're not here to talk about the giant setbacks of the world, but we are here to say, like you just said, Aspen, there have been some great frickin' things happening, and the humans are still here, and we're in survival, and the failures of them taught us growth and opportunity. Right. So there's a couple of things. When I was in my early 20s and started with a large consulting company, David Teeger, who I adore, God rest him, God rest his peace. Anyway, he literally, we were programmed that every problem had to have a solution, and every solution was an opportunity. So to this day, I'm in my early 20s, I'm like maybe 20, maybe 21. I literally, to this day, as you know, there is never a problem. It's always an opportunity. And that program, I'm kind of like that. I'm really glad I kept it. And some of the setbacks with respect to some family challenges that occurred in Ohio, and, some unfortunate, health issues, really kind of, as I was in Ohio again, said to myself, what am I doing? Like this, I could see this as a setback or an opportunity to have to, unfortunately, say goodbye to some family members that weren't going to be on earth anymore, and too many of them, and some other decisions that had to be made when you're left alone. But instead, I was like, okay, what's the opportunity here? Walking away from your childhood home. Right? That's all you know. That's your safety and security. And your safety and security blanket is gone. And I know a lot of you out there can relate to having a safety and security blanket that is no longer there. So what do you do in that circumstance? Well, here's what you do. You literally say, what am I going to do in the next 5 minutes? I'm going to pack up this box, right? And I set we talked about this before. I turned it into perspective shift. Okay. Here we are, here's the situation, and we're talking to everyone out there that feels like you have a setback. Wherever it is, just go into perspective of, I'm breathing, I'm alive, this might suck right now, and it feels like a failure, but it's not. It's just a perspective shift. It's an opportunity to learn and to adapt and to evolve and to innovate, because you have amazing resilience.
I remember you going through that process, but I love how you just highlighted it's small steps. What can I do in the next 5 minutes? Don't get caught up in the big picture of it all. Because what I watched you do is every 5 minutes you were, okay, what can I do? How can I tackle this? And you were experiencing the feelings that were coming up. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, you're like, Aspen, I'm moving to Italy. I'm all, what? You're moving to Italy? Okay, great, fabulous. And you can't go, what I'm trying to say is like starting with, I gotta get everything packed so I can move to Italy wouldn't have worked.
Mm-mm.
One step at a time. You don't need to know the outcome right now, and you'll be surprised at where you end up.
And also what comes as you're going through this setback, what happens to you. And just like set some clear celebratory goals.
I think there's also a acceptance with where you are. Like be where your feet are planted in this moment and just find the beauty in it. For you, it was beautiful for you to be in Ohio. You reconnected to old memories and you really were able to process the grief of what was going down in that moment. And I think so often we try to escape our current reality because it's so uncomfortable. But if you really allow yourself to accept and be present in the moment, no matter how great it is or also how challenging it can be, you're going to find you're going to be more successful of making those small steps forward that ultimately lead to something later down the road. And you don't need to know what that is right now.
Right.
It's not about finding the exit plan. It's about being right here in this moment because this is what life's about. I don't know how many days left I have. You don't know how many days you have left. It's all about being here in the moment and really experiencing life, the highs and the lows.
Yeah. And appreciating your successes. I really want to shift this. Right. And when we fine tune this a little bit, a setback is an opportunity for growth. It is a time for you to celebrate the acknowledgement that it feels horrible. It sucks. It's not comfortable. I was with two friends today that I adore that just arrived. And one is a lawyer, amazing guy. And he said that without failure, you're never going to grow. And he said, do you know how many trial cases I didn't make, right? Where I didn't have the outcome I wanted, but I learned so much from them. And he became like the #1 trial lawyer in all of America at one time. And then my bestie said, you know what I do with setbacks? I get the frosting out and I just frost away. How great is that? So guys, we have all made cakes that haven't made it. And the frosting, we put the frosting on the cakes, right? The cake could be a failure. Like, oh my God, I can't serve that. And you put some frosting on it in the moment. She's like, this is in the moment. I frost away. How great is that tool? Frost away, baby.
Frost away. I love it. Celebrate those wins. That's huge. And that failure, being able to, I just actually, this triggers a thought and then we're going to wrap this up and get to a question. But I was on a run the other day and I do a lot of thinking when I'm on my runs and I'm on my run and I'm like, the question I need to ask myself every single day is, how did I fail today? Because if I'm not failing every single day, I'm not growing and I'm not pursuing what I want to pursue. So how did you fail today? And it's something like celebrate it and grow, move. That's an awareness. It's an opportunity to learn. Anyways, I love that. Let's jump to our question.
Okay.
This is a good one and it relates very much to what we're talking about. Someone asked, how do I not feel behind when leaving college to do something else? So I'm assuming this person is saying that they decided to stop going to school maybe in the middle of their college journey and move on to something else, maybe pursuing a career in another, becoming an entrepreneur. I'll speak to this because I know my own college experience was quite challenging. Yeah, I wanted to leave college multiple times and I had some pretty convincing plans to do it. I ended up finishing. But ultimately, I think when you're making a decision for yourself, make the decision and be confident. Own this decision. You're leaving for a reason. And whatever reason it is, it's valid. Go do it. Own it in this moment. And then I would also remember, this is your journey. It's not anyone else's journey, and don't compare yourself to anyone. We are all so different and so unique, and what works for me is not going to work for you always, or it's going to work for your neighbor. This is your journey. And I think there's also, we're in this great moment of time where like, what has gone on in the what culture has told you to do. We're kind of all breaking the cultural barriers, which is really exciting. You don't always need to go to college in order to have a successful business or do whatever, achieve whatever you want to. So I would say own your journey right now and really try not to pay attention to what everyone else is doing and hone in on your own craft right now. Turn the lens back in.
Yep.
And just every single day.
So I will add to that. Your life is an adventure. I call it adventures. And if your spirit says, this doesn't serve me, then get the hell out yesterday. And bravo, male or female, whatever you are, congratulations on taking that leap of faith for yourself. That's what this is all about. Regardless of what year you're in, if you say to yourself, this college gig isn't working for me, I'm an artist,
Yep.
I'm a musician, I'm really creative, I'm an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you are, go do it, right? Believe in it. Follow your soul, follow your heart. And like Aspen said, whatever that programming is from parents, from students, from faculty, from whomever it comes from, that's on them. We honor and love them where they're at, but it's not for you. So go for it. We are so excited, and keep us posted, please, because we really want to know what you've decided to do and where you're going to go with all of this. So with that, enjoy your adventure.
Cheers.
Thank you for the question, and salute day to you.
Amen. I love it. Congratulations. All right, guys, have a fabulous week. Please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. If you could please share it with someone, that really helps us spread our message. And finally, remember that we're on YouTube, so you can watch our episodes on YouTube as well. Anyways, have a great week, guys. That's On Them is hosted by Aspen, Rocha, and Cheryl Paoletti. Produced by Lauren Boone and edited by Sarah Buchynski.
Love you, Tots.
See you later, Tots.